Yo guys, I've got a spark which I'm going to use to ignite the fire for a brand new episode of the Skylanders Trap Team Sabotage series here on my channel. Today we are getting two birds with one stone in the fact that I am crossing off two different sabotage challenges both at the same time. There is one revolving around the fact that I must constantly remain moving no matter what, and there is another where I must constantly remain flying at all times no matter what. I can combine these two sabotages into a mega challenge to where I must both remain in flight and continue to move at all times, no exceptions. And so this does vastly limit our cast based on characters who can infinitely remain flying. There are some characters that are capable of flight, but only temporarily. Luckily for me, Chopper here is not one of them, so he's basically the only Trap Team core I have available. But what's great about this guy is that I can just simply double tap the jump button and initiate said flight. Now there will of course be that short period where a Skylander spawns in that they can't you know, immediately start flying, and I'm realizing now that you actually can't create towers whilst you're on flight, but basically those are the only seconds where I can remain out of flight. Every other frame I must remain in flight, so because that includes the build phase, I can't actually build this tech tower right now, which is a huge disappointment, I'm realizing. But yes, if there are attacks that uninitiate flying, I'm going to have to stop flying for a moment here so I can actually start the next wave. But with that being said, if there are attacks that stop the flight, I cannot use those abilities because that will mean I will move out of flying and therefore will fail the sabotage challenge and have to sacrifice my current Skylander. Now with Chopper here, whilst in flight, he can actually activate his Soul Gem, which makes him very particularly useful because his Soul Gem is dumb, stupid, broken. And we love it when they're dumb, stupid, broken. Oh yeah, they also go out of flight from the cutscenes as well, so parts that are out of my control, just like the previous episode, will not be counted towards a failure of the sabotage objectives, but otherwise I must remain in flight, I must remain moving at all times. As you can see, I'm still moving, I haven't stopped yet, and it's the same with flight, except for beyond what's in my control. And I believe I can't even, wow, whilst in flight I can't even stop for horns, or at least for timer. They do have horns attached to them, like at the top left and top right. So yes, this is a tried and true sabotage in every meaning of word. It has sabotaged me. I cannot build towers, I cannot stop the like Chaos Doom Horn thingamabob. I think that's stupid enough as is. We're going to stick with it. And worse yet is my momentum. My momentum will be harmed. I was realizing for a moment there that I stopped moving, so I quickly changed that. But yeah, there's a lot less maneuverability whilst flying, a lot less agility. I can't easily swap from heading in one direction to another. So if I have enemies heading towards me, like so I'm heading towards them this way, I have to go through them because I can't turn around with such ease, and that will make it very easy for them to hit me. Luckily for me, Chopper is a very ranged character, so it won't be too difficult to keep my distance as I attack them. So yes, there's maneuverability. I'm going to struggle to avoid enemy attacks a whole lot more easily, and there's even going to be certain attacks with Skylanders that I cannot use because it will cancel the flight ability, hence making me lose a challenge. Anyway, to make things a hell of a whole lot easier for me, during the build phase, I can remain regular just because to initiate things I cannot be in flight, but as soon as the next wave is initiated, I must go into flight, and at all times, as I said earlier, I must remain moving. You can tell when I'm not moving because Chopper will just kind of like stay in place and slightly go backwards. So yes, there will be movement there, but there won't be any input. Oh boy, on my left analog stick, it appears that I also have my flight cancelled when I get hit, again out of my control, but as long as I initiate flight directly afterwards before I start attacking enemies, then the sabotage is still being fulfilled upon. And, you know, I'm most certainly, by every definition of word, being sabotaged by this viewer challenge of mine right now. Like, seriously, what did I do to deserve this? Why do you hate me so much, guys? Why do you love seeing this suffering of mine right now?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Okay, here we go. I'm back in flight. Before I attack enemies, we'll be forced to, unfortunately, of course, sacrifice Chopper right now. Oh boy. Speaking of sacrifices, whilst this is not intentional, it seems as though Chopper is going to be sacrificed to the OP-ness of I-5 right now. You know, we thought Chopper's Soul Gem was overpowered. Well, he ain't got nothing on this I-5 right now, as it would appear. And those are my thoughts and words summarised into visuals. Quite exactly, mind you. Now, luckily for me, when in doubt, I can just swap out for elites. And there is one elite who can remain in flight at all times. That, of course, being Spyro. There is Whirlwind too, but she's unfortunately still at my Lincoln accommodation, so I can't use her. Oh! This Spyro doesn't have the upgrade yet. Well, this is unfortunate. I'm going to have to sacrifice him. So that being said, it looks like I'm not going to be easily shoehorning myself out of this sabotage challenge, because I cannot, from here on, be utilising any elites. So instead, we're going to bring about Cinder, her Series 2 in specific, because her wow pow is based entirely around her flight. So yes, let's go. Wow, yes, another one, which has no upgrades to her name. Because I was about to say her wow pow is based completely around her flight. Not that it's gonna matter when she has no upgrades to her name, including said wow pow. So yes, third time's the charm. Hopefully this Sonic Boom replacement portal will actually have upgrades. And I will actually be somewhat prepared. I'm not asking for too much, am I? There you are. Finally, there is flight. Now, having to constantly move with this character makes it so much harder. Oh my god, mate. I can barely avoid these attacks. And it's so much more harder to target this character when I'm always having to move. Okay, let's get back in flight. Because I got shoved up against a wall, the animation was kind of cancelled. But luckily I got back into flight before enemies started being attacked. So again, I didn't feel upon for sabotage objectives, and Sonic Boom here does not need to be sacrificed. So yes, let's be seeing what this thing has to offer for the next wave, obviously. And now let's get back into flight. Yes, this challenge is surprisingly difficult to remain active with. Again, another thing that makes it a fine sabotage, I suppose. A fine sabotage, great sabotage, however you want to put it. The point is that it has sabotaged me, alright? Okay, thank God this Sonic Boom has a pathway to where she can create a little chain reaction with all of her screeches, because boy do I need that right now. If I can't target enemies all too well, then I am going to need her to, you know, cause a chain reaction so that then one hit can hit many. That is how a chain reaction of hits works at the end of the day. Okay, let's charge up and then unleash the power. Man, that was a lot of power right there. Or should I say damage?
No, that's a lot of damage!
Okay, here we are. Let's defeat some fools. Again, I would be screeching at them a whole lot more easily right now, if not for the terrible agility of the flight mode that I have to remain in at all times per the sabotage I've been graced with. Okay, there we are. I think the greatest sabotage this entire series, though, has been my lack of preparing skills. Had I prepared better and actually upgraded my Skylanders, I'd be in a whole lot better of a situation right now. As the old saying goes, my greatest enemy is myself. Okay, here we go. Let's be cracking some eggs. You know what they say, if you want to make an omelette, then you gotta break some eggs. And I want to make an omelette right now, a bad guy omelette. I love me a good bad guy omelette. Okay, let's charge this up. Thank God you can remain charged while in flight. You can actually do that with Spyro as well. That is when you've upgraded him, so he actually has his flight ability. Okay, here we go. This is a lot of fools, but they're just lining up for the slaughterhouse like my Skylanders have these last few episodes. But now it's no longer slaughtering for my Skylanders, it's the opposite way around, where my Skylanders are slaughtering for enemies. We love to see it. That's fire right there. Unfortunately, there aren't actually any fire Skylanders capable of flight. I'm sure, well, there are characters that levitate, characters like, come on, just fly here, something, would you? Characters like Spitfire, who levitates off the ground for his in-game animations, but that doesn't count as flight now, does it? It's not an ability. Unlike what the Sabotage is very explicit about, shall we say, you know, the words flight and ability were utilised. Okay, there we are. We're taking out some fools, alright. BSA, Spyro can have his charged up whilst he's in flight, as can Sonic Boom. Is rather useful indeed. Ouch! Okay, let's get back into flight then. Sometimes I accidentally press the triangle button a few too many times and it just keeps going back and forth between flight and not so flight. Okay, I doubt highly that the Mystery Box of Doom is going to last this entire wave, and that Sonic Boom is going to last this entire wave for that matter, but we're definitely going to be trying our absolute darndest. Why wouldn't I be? Luckily for me, this character is pretty good, so she's not doing half bad, especially with her chain reactions. A character which we unfortunately can't even utilise in this game because, well, his name is Chain Reaction for one, and for second, we have the fact that he's a sensei, and the senseis are not playable in Trap Team. Okay, let's be continuing to screech these fools out of existence. Man, my throat isn't doing me any favours right now. In the previous episode I was sick enough as is, and now I'm even more sick than that. And thank God for armour, our absolute saviour right now. Where would I be about the armour? Well, I'd be dead for starters. Either way, when I said the Mystery Box of Doom was not going to last this entire wave, that right there is what I meant. Oh wow, that Grave Club had an interesting glitch right there, so much so that it distracted me and caused Sonic Boom's death. I have nothing else to blame for, but that glitch right there had nothing to do with my lack of ability in pushing the Be Good video game button. Nothing whatsoever. I know either way, even here we go with Tornado, whose flight ability is that right there. Now, unfortunately, I was about to say we can't slam down. Apparently, this game does it automatically. What? He goes out of flight like all the time, apparently. When you press his secondary attack button, he goes out of flight. When he presses these buttons, he goes out of flight, and then he slams back down again. I'm going to have to sacrifice him now because of the fact that I couldn't remain constantly in flight, but I just kept attacking with him anyway to prove a point that this guy's flight ability sucks, and I was entirely unaware of it because of my lack of research going into things. So it's true, I really am my own worst enemy. I mean, my lack of preparation is to show for it, so let's go with Gilgrunt instead. Now, this I did put some research into because Gilgrunt's flight ability is not infinite unless you're down the correct path, and this particular Gilgrunt is down the correct pathway. Unfortunately, you remain facing the same way the entire time, but you can infinitely use any one of his water abilities, as well as have the ability to create explosive sea creatures. Oh man, I really wish I could change directions right now, but that was asking too much. There we go, he's dead, thank God for that. But yeah, luckily his flight ability is very quick and a lot more manoeuvrable agility-wise than other flight abilities. And thank God this skill grid is down for the correct path where we can do this infinitely, because that's what the Sabotage is calling for. Okay, with the angle of attack, this certainly is very difficult right now. But we got there eventually, and that's what matters. We might even level up Gilgrunt along the way, to which, you know, he will stop flying for the wave being completed, and he will stop flying. As I said earlier, for build phase I don't need to continuously fly, I do need to still continuously move, however, as I have been doing. Man, this is a hard Sabotage to keep track of, constantly in flight, constantly moving. Okay, so this might be the final wave of a particular level. It isn't the final wave of the episode. The final wave of the episode will be the 70th wave. But still, the fact that you remain facing the same direction just makes it so much more harder for targeting these enemies and finally defeating them. Oh wow, that towered a lot less well. No, I would have finished Dr. Doom. But yeah, should he level up, he will, his flight animation will be cancelled, but I will go immediately back into flight afterwards, should such a thing occur. Now I have an even worse angle of attack right now. This is really annoying. And again, a great sabotage, for I have officially been sabotaged, made official by yours truly. Okay, let's get back into flight with this terrible attack angle once more. How dare you continue to hit me. Okay, back in flight we go. Yeah, this definitely demands a lot of concentration that I am failing to give to the game right now. I'm, you know, a bit too busy with my commentary apparently, which I definitely should not be, but here I am. Concentrating on such things anyway, and you know what that spelled out for me? Death. Nothing but death. Luckily, that's what we got Drobot for. Drobot's OP no matter what. Now, unfortunately, because I need to remain in flight at all times, that's going to make things a hell of a whole lot easier, because this guy has a lot of speed. Sure, where am I? How did I wind up back here? Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, because I'm always moving with this guy, it's very hard to laser those guys and avoid attacks. Okay, it would appear that this is the one instance where Drobot is not overpowered, so when in doubt, let's just bring back Spyro and hope that this time he actually has those flight abilities that I am looking for. Oh, we're all fired up, alright. Okay, here we go. Straight into flight, as if I don't get hit in the first 5 seconds, which is asking for a lot. I've got to continuously remain moving, let's not forget. Okay, here we are. Why do you guys gotta make this so difficult on me? Like, man, we had a good thing going with Sonic Boom and Gilgrunt, and the game just screwed me over with those guys right there. And now I'm dead. That did not last very long. Okay, let's try this again, but this time with Drobot. And I'm thinking that it being in hover mode is going to be a lot easier than the afterburners, because that's still a flight ability at the end of the day. That's not exactly going against the sabotage rules and all that. Oh, this is a lot easier. I wish I just did this the first time. You can even use for gears as well. Now, the problem here is that you do remain in the same direction at all... I was about to say you do remain in the same direction at all times. You don't. Then again, it's just a glitch, because I am currently doing the flight ability. It just isn't doing it the correct way, you could say. It's like I'm regularly moving when I'm in hover still, because I'm still holding the bumper down. And you can tell from the fact that Drobot is levitating this way that he's still, like, in the animation, the ability is still active, but yet the maneuverability is like normal. Thank God for armor twice. Oh, but in the end, it didn't even matter. So let's go from one mini to the next. They did have one sabotage that was to utilize nothing but minis, so it seems as though the person who really wanted to see some mini gameplay is getting their wish for the moment being. Okay, here we go. I'm glad I'm using projectiles again though, especially after the last sabotage. Yes, he's dead, thank God. I needed that. I needed that so badly. Okay, all I gotta do is survive this wave with this guy, because then we get to move on to the next level, where Spry's health bar will go back up to full because of the level swapping up. You know, it's one of the rewards for making it halfway through the challenge, I guess, for doing the first 5 waves. So nothing but polite and moving at all times. Okay, we have food back here, so not to worry about that hit. Thank God for armor once more. What would I do about it, honestly? Anyway, unfortunately, I can't use this guy's Earth Pound ability from his Soul Gem, because that would cancel his flight animation and therefore go against the objectives of the sabotage. I cannot emphasize this enough. I mean, I am repeating myself. Repetition for effect and all that. The effect to put emphasis on the very things we are repeating. I hate this fire circle. It's supposed to be a good fire circle, and yet even when enemies are hit by said fire circle, they still aren't dealt damage to. What was the point in having a fire circle if it's not even going to deal with damage? Am I right? Who am I kidding? Of course I'm right. Anyway, the wave has been completed, and because this is a build phase, I don't need to worry about flight, because those were the rules I had to invent halfway through, realising that towers can't be activated. In fact, the next wave can't even be activated whilst in flight.
How can I, Chaos, possibly top the height of my evil perfection?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that at all, Chaos. It was basically just you. Oh, I'd love so much to use Swarm and his infinite flight ability right now for secondary button, but unfortunately I killed him off in one of the earlier episodes, and because this is, you know, an honorary lock of sorts where when a character is defeated they cannot be used again, unfortunately that same case is happening for Swarm right now. It's a big upset if you were to ask me. Big upset, alright. Okay, here we go. Some fools are in the need of an ass whooping. Or should I say an ass firing? Haha, I'm very funny. Yeah, that's it, Magic Tower. I was about to say Magic Tower, do your job, but it didn't do its job very well because it's dead now. Okay, here we are. I mean, neither is Sprite. These attacks aren't exactly landing. Oh, there's Spry's first hit. Oh, and there goes Tower 2. Crap. Anyway, that charge ability that you can do even more than flight, that right there is what I meant with it. Why didn't that attack anything? That's just annoying. Well, at least I managed to attack the Frankenstein with that, but unfortunately it doesn't matter much because I'm dead. So we still have a few versions of Whirlwind left. Let's bring her out without further ado. Unfortunately though, it's not quite the elite one. Okay, here we go. Let's take down some fools. No, not the Mystery Box of Doom. Hopefully that's going to defeat some of the fools right beside it. Yes, it is. Okay, there we are. Unfortunately, I have this guy to deal with. Okay, let's create some clouds. Oh, yes, this whirlwind is down that particular path with the cloud splitter. And that is actually really useful for the strategy of taking down this I-5 because I can just create, like, lightning trip wires. Oh my god, that strategy works so much better than I was expecting. This is an OP strategy with Series 2 Whirlwind right now. Like, just as I thought this character could get any better, just look at this amount of destruction I have right now. I have rainbows everywhere, I have splits everywhere. My god, this character is good. Unfortunately, I can't charge up her horn ability and create just a massive explosion of colour. But really, who needs that when you can do this, am I right? Oh, that damage is glorious, and it slows them down. And I get armor. What the fuck is this character? What did I do to deserve this OPness in the game right now? Like, whose back did I need to scratch to get this, overpowered? Okay, here we are. Oh, man, you can be so far away and the lightning will still... Well, the lightning tether will still be created. Oh, man, I'm loving this lightning tether right now. Oh, boy. Let's get back into flight, then. Luckily, the wave is over. I just got to keep this character alive as long as possible. And there's actually a chance and a hope. Because I'm running out of characters eligible for this Sabotage right now. Okay, I don't need to remain in flight for the building phase. I will do at certain points in time because it's just faster to traverse with flight. But in other times, it doesn't have to remain consistent. So long as I'm, you know, in flight whenever I can be and always in movement, then the Sabotage has been fulfilled upon. Oh, you heard it first here, folks. We were wrong. Horribly wrong. Facts. Oh no, not for traps. Anything but for traps. I get this as a trap team, but do you really need a big chaos? Like, is that really a necessity? Anyway, food. Yumsies. Can't believe I just said yumsies, but here we are. Okay, you guys can roam around this area all you like. You can stay up past your bedtime all you like. For one condition is don't destroy my tower, please. My tower's nothing to you. Just leave it be. Okay, here we are. And these guys right here, they're gamers. They're going to want to remain up all night. And if they continue to attack my air tower, I just won't allow it. I'll be left with no choice but to defeat him. Okay, time for my OP strategy, and I need it too, because Whirlwind is not looking good in health right now. Okay, here we are. Come on, let's clutch this. That I-5 just got annihilated by this pathwork right now. Oh, it's so good. This character does not have any rights being this good, and yet here we are. Okay, I want the food. I want to I was about to say heal up my tower, but I can't even do that whilst in flight. And now said tower has been destroyed. There was nothing I could do. That trap really screwed me. Chaos's own sabotages are working as a great sabotage. And unfortunately, Hornblast Whirlwind right here, she isn't down the same pathway as for Series 2 Whirlwind. So I'm not going to be able to use my epic strategy anymore. It's big sad, I know. Though I do have this charged horn that I can use now, and again I can remain in flight. Boom! Color explosion. Also massive seizure warning. Like seriously, why did the developers want to give you a seizure with this character? What is wrong with them? And I mean the developers. Then again, what else would I mean? But I'm glad it does suck in the enemies. It means that I can maintain my distance more easily. You know, here we have yet another strategy, hopefully a winning one, because those are my favourite kind of strategies. Okay, here we go, we're actually getting somewhere now, we love to see it. Oh wow, that was a lot of rainbows right there. And we love to see it, baby. I'd love to see even more right now, a lightning tether, but unfortunately, pathway-wise, that's too much to ask for. Okay, here we go, let's set that down, let's set that down. Sweet, I am glad that the Tempest Clouds do deal damage themselves. Okay, watch out for that guy. Kind of wish I could also do this same idea, but with Skylanders charging all the time constantly. Then I could still use Spyro because of his chargeability. I could use characters like Drill Sergeant, and Drill Sergeant would have his laser activated whilst he charges continuously. So I could imagine Drill Sergeant being a good choice for a sabotage like that, even though Drill Sergeant normally is never a good choice because Drill Sergeant sucks. There you go, there's my 1 minute YouTube short of me talking about Drill Sergeant. Don't expect this to ever happen again. And now wave 67 has been completed. We can activate this tower without further ado, swap out Hornblast Whirlwind for her fellow Spyro counterpart. This time it's going to be for Series 2 version.
All fired up.
Oh, he's all fired up, alright. I would be more so if not for the fact that my Eon's Elite Spyro got screwed by my lack of preparation and having failed to upgrade him. Now Life, once again, has no characters capable of flight. Speaking of flight, I need to deactivate it so I can start the next wave. Camo, being of course for Life Dragon from SSA, and most of the SSA dragons are where we're getting most of these flight abilities from, but Camo was a unique dragon in the fact that he couldn't fly. Similar to Bash and Zap, those were also characters that got unique tertiary abilities that weren't flight. I actually made their gameplay more exciting because I always felt as though flight was a bit of a waste of ability, because all it does is mildly shift up your movement style and, you know, make it so you have increased speed and armor. Outside of that, there isn't anything really all that interesting, and this guy's down the charging path, so I can't actually charge up my projectile ability because that's part of the fireball path, not the path this guy's down, or he's just under upgraded. Either way, it doesn't look good for me right now, Spyro wise. Yep, doesn't look good at all. Let's see what kind of damage Cinder can do, because Spyro is just worthless flying apparently. And hopefully we don't have another Series 2 Cinder moment right now. Good, she's upgraded. We love to see it. Unfortunately, I can't do her Shadow Dash because that would take her out of flight, which is why a Series 2 would have been so much more better, because then at least I would have had the Wow Pow on top of her primary ability. Now, this ability right here does stun. Lightning Rod was really good in the previous episode for stunning, but unfortunately that only applies to smaller, weaker enemies. I do have the Ghost of the Ally though, that's turning out to be pretty useful. But who would have seen this coming? Whirlwind was actually the greatest character for this sabotage right now. I know, I for one would not have seen that coming. If only I had her Elite version rather than Lincoln. Unfortunately, my stupid brain didn't think ahead like that. But yeah, never in a million years did I think Whirlwind would be the best at something. But here she is being the best at this particular sabotage. It's like I said in the previous episode, every sabotage has some sort of like counter activity to it, and this sabotage, that counter activity is Whirlwind. Okay, I really want to take that with Mystery Box of Doom like thing right now, just because then it's going to be left so much more easy for Whirlwind to clean slate. Ouch. Yeah, speaking of Whirlwind, it's time we brought her in, but we're going to use our final remaining Spyros first, including his Dark Mega Ram version. Which is definitely down for charge path, I believe, so I won't be able to charge up his projectiles.
The evil creature has been defeated.
Yep, I was right. Would be great if I didn't have to remain in flight all the time. You know, having those upgraded charge abilities, that is. Okay, there we are. I'm not even sure if we can even be hit by those attacks whilst we're in flight, to be honest. But the punches we most certainly can be. We've seen that happen before. Anyway, the hitboxes on those traps right there, I'm not going to moan about it. You know, I'm quite alright with it missing, despite the fact that it definitely should not have. Oh, thank you, armor. I love the fact that armor, you get to remain in flight as well. You know, it means it's one less button for me to worry about. Okay, here we go. Flight in movement at all times. I'm telling myself this so I can be reminded of Sabotage and not be forced to sacrifice Skylanders as a consequence for failing upon said Sabotage. He punched me! How rude. Charlie punched me! Yeah, that guy's name is Charlie now. And now I've got an attached to it. Great. Anyway, speaking of being attached, my nose is attached to my face. I have no choice of matter, and now it's becoming all runny. And that's making it very difficult to play the game, because I have to worry about my nose and the controller all simultaneously. What did I do to deserve this? On second thoughts, do not answer that. That was a rhetorical question. Okay, that guy's down at long last. It's about damn time. And speaking of people being down, there goes Dark Mega Ram Spyro. So, it's time for regular Mega Ram Spyro. The final Spyro. Man, this was a Spyro slaughterhouse right here. And I don't mind if I do be saying that, because that's a mighty final iteration if you were to ask me. Spyro slaughterhouse, alright. Yeah, this is right here the pinnacle of what makes Spyro an average Skylander. Yes, I said it. Hot take, I know. In the words of Mighty Tough Work, deal with it. Ouch. Okay, luckily we killed at least one of them. Again, that's going to make things a hell of a whole lot easier for Hornblast Whirlwind. Great, so I have Hornblast Whirlwind, and I have Breeze. My hopes are not high. Ouch, especially when that happens. Okay, luckily for me, I can keep those in place. Okay, there we are. Oh, so many rainbows of doom. We love to see it. But the wave isn't over yet. Dun dun dun. Don't laugh, that's awfully rude there, Chaos. Awfully, awfully rude. Yeah, there were other characters capable of flight, like Jetpack, but unfortunately Jetpack's flight ability is limited, so it will run out eventually. Which means that if we lose Breeze, meaning that I won't have any Skylanders with permanent flight abilities left, in that case, I will use Jetpack, and when his flight ability is used up, I'll just have to sacrifice him. But by then, there'll only be a few more waves left, and there's enough versions of Jetpack to get through an entire wave's worth, I reckon. Even with all the sacrifices, which I'm sure you guys have no problems with whatsoever, because Jetpack literally sucks. Okay, you guys have got to go. Simple as, really. Boom! We got him! Are we going to level up? Are we going to level up? That was asking for too much, but what's not asking for too much, however, is, well, the number of the next wave. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Nice.
And I just remembered, High Five has a flight ability as well, doesn't he? But that isn't permanent, I don't think. You know, I'm pretty sure he gets tired out after a while. I mean, could you blame him? You know, it would require a lot of energy to fly as fast as High Five can. Yes, I could see that, Eon. You even gave me a zoomed out camera to help me with said sight of it. Okay, here we are. Okay, watch out for the hit. I would like much to not take that to the face. Thank you. Okay, here we are. More Tempest Clouds for the win. Yes, yes, heal me, heal me, heal me! Yes! And those guys got defeated along the way. We love to see it. And that, my friends, is why leveling up is so useful. We learnt that in one of the previous episodes, and we continue to showcase what we've learnt, I suppose. Okay, here we are. These fools are going down. Oh, yes, they are. Okay, there we go. That's what we love to see now, baby. This was a fun challenge, I've got to admit. You know, remaining in flight, having to find different strategies for combat. Finding how much of a winning strategy Whirlwinds was, which automatically makes it my favourite strategy. You know, it was just a clever way to freshen up the gameplay loop for me a little bit. You know, Skylanders can get a bit stale after a while. It is just at its heart a button masher, a very complex button masher, especially for kids. But still, being able to play it this way, nice fresh take, I suppose. Anyway, these guys have got to go. If only I had the lightning tethers right now. Luckily for me, this spam strategy seems to be working out. I just love proving the Whirlwind haters wrong, because I know for a fact that Saving the Skylanders is someone who isn't particularly fond of this character, and how OP she's been this episode proves him wrong. And I also kind of proved him wrong in one of the repos locks I did for Swap Force. Like, sure, I am yet to have beaten that lock, but in one of the attempts, I got the farthest with Hornblast Whirlwind, so that just goes to show how good she can be when you activate Beast Mode with her. Oh boy, you gotta watch out for that though. So there we go, baby. Yes! I mean, no! The noise wave is over. Oh dear. I don't much like the noise wave being over, but I do like the idea of having this air tower right now. That's at the bare minimum going to distract enemies, and that's exactly what we need heading into the final wave of this particular episode. We also need to deactivate flight ability so we can actually start the next wave, but let's get to it. Constant movement and constant light. Oh yeah. Okay, here we go. Oh dear. Can you fly, please? That is part of a sabotage. Okay, here we are. One more hit and we're done so. So the plan is basically to not get hit anymore. I like this plan. Oh boy. And I couldn't quite get to them in time. That is unfortunate. It's going to be also unfortunate how much I annihilate this Painada right now. I'm almost going to feel sorry for him. Almost anyway. But almost out now, does it? Oh, I forgot that Whirlwind's ability can heal up this turret. Oh yeah, and there's not just Breeze. There's also frickin' Polar Whirlwind that I could also use. So there's plenty of versions of Whirlwind to go around, because I just remembered off the top of my head. Oh yeah, Polar Whirlwind is a character that exists. So if push comes to shove and I lose, well, I've already lost this version of Whirlwind, so I'm going to go and grab Breeze and Hornblast, not Hornblast Whirlwind, that's one that just died. I'm going to go ahead and grab Breeze and Polar Whirlwind, so then I have a backup for my backup. So the good news is that I was finally able to find, hidden behind some collectibles on my shelf, this character right here. So hopefully she can be the clutch we need to finally complete this Sabotage without further ado. Because, you know, I was saying to myself, I swear I never took this character to Lincoln with me. And I was correct, I never did. It just so happens that she was behind one of my collectible Funko Pops on my shelf, and so therefore, in my initial search, I didn't find her. But the second time, I looked a little bit, with a little bit more vigour, with a little bit more effort, and I was successful. If only I had found her before all of her jetpacks visited the slaughterhouse. But, you know, we do get to end off the episode on a high note, literally, because I'm flying high in the air. I mean, that is Woman's element. She is of the air element, so flying high in the air, it's just, it all comes full circle. That's the point I'm making here. Now, with that all being said and done, this video is coming to an end, but before that happens, I first want to thank all my Blazing Knights and Scorpion Dragons whose support allow me to continue pumping out quality videos like this one. Without them, this all wouldn't be possible. Therefore, I genuinely appreciate every last one of you from the bottom of my heart. If you enjoyed this video, I have others you can watch by clicking on screen now, and you can even subscribe by pressing the button on the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next one, but until that moment arises, peace!